And we are live. Welcome to this weha.com special weather report. I'm John Lyons, joined as always by the managing editor of weha.com, Ronnie Newton. Today we're going to talk about this major winter storm. And yes, I know we're not getting snow, but it is a winter storm that is coming our way and how the town is preparing for it. From the town, our guests are town manager Rick Lewith and the director of public works, John Phillips. Welcome to the storm, guys. How are you? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the storm and the show. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So we want to, with this potentially, I don't think it's going to be historic here, but it's going to be a big storm here. But it is going to be historic, particularly north and west of us. It's kind of a repeat of the one that hit last week. Although this one, the story is going to be very much about the winds. So, Ronnie, do you want me to, well, you're populating right now, so you're going to give me the all clear in a minute, right?
I am giving you the all clear right this moment.
Okay. All right, good. And hopefully Jen Evans has us picked up. So we tried a new feature, a new widget today with our Be Live broadcast, and hopefully it works. So Jen, hopefully you got us on the TV here. So anyway, all right. So first thing I want to do is let me quickly run through what the forecast maps are saying. They have changed a little bit in the last 24 hours. So we're going to do this. You guys, we're going to be able to still hear you. We won't be able to see you. I'm going to take the cameras down here. I'm just going to kind of quickly do a run through of what the maps are telling us. And of course, I'm on the wrong. Oh, no, I'm on the wrong day. Let's back up here. Okay, so this is live right now. You can see with the system coming in from the south. It's a pretty strong system. You can see some of the storms off the mid-Atlantic coast. I mean, those are pretty powerful thunderstorms. And as the day progresses, the system from the west, which is the main event, that's going to progress our way. Tonight, the rain's going to start for us probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. We'll start to get light rain. It's going to pick up in intensity pretty quickly. Over here, it's kind of hard to see, and Ronnie, tell me if you're not seeing my mouse, but hopefully you're seeing me.
I am seeing it.
You are seeing it. Okay. And that's, you can see 992. That's that relates to strength of the storm. That's a barometric pressure. And barometric pressure has been used since the beginning of time when it comes to weather to measure strength of storms. So 992 is not terribly, terribly strong, but as we move forward, now this is Friday, 7 a.m., and you can see we got chance. I mean, I think we have a legitimate chance of thunder here as the cold front approaches. It's such a violent shift from really mild air that's just being sucked up by that low pressure system that's coming up from the south, and then we've got really, really cold Canadian air behind it, almost like an invasion of air. And we're going to see the temperatures drop from 52, 53, say at this time tomorrow, or maybe just before now. And by 3 or 4 tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the 20s. I mean, it's going to be remarkable, the temperature drop. And so we fast forward now to Friday at 1 p.m. and look how much that storm is strengthening. The other thing I want to point out is, and hopefully my mouse is working, but I'm circling the low. That's the center of the storm, center of the main event. You can see those black lines and how compressed they are. Those are isobars, and that is an indication of winds. And I mean, the winds are just going to be the story of this show, of this storm. And I know when we get to Rick and John here in just a moment, we're going to be talking a lot about winds. I think that's the primary fear from this storm is wind damage. So we're going to get into that. And you can also see how the lines, they go in opposite directions because we at 1 o'clock are still forecast on being on the east side, the warm side of the front. It's going to be right around there. So the winds are going to be coming from an atypical direction. And that's something that always worries me as well, is when winds come in very strong from an atypical direction, and typical is north, northwest, west. But when they come in from the south, that's where we can also see damage. So we're going to talk to the guys about that as well, to our guests about that as well. But until that cold front is snapped through, it's almost like a rubber band. It's just going to snap right through. We're going to see winds coming from the south, which is an invitation for flooding on the coasts, on any coastal area, and an invitation for damage inland because we are seeing winds from a non-typical direction. The trees aren't used to it, for lack of a better term. Things aren't used to the wind coming from that direction. We go to Friday at 7. The storm has just gone bananas here. It's 967 millibars, which translates to like 28.6 28.55, somewhere around there, inches of mercury. That's a historically powerful storm. I mean, now we're into top 10, top 15 recorded storm strengths. It's way north of us. As you can see, areas like Burlington, Vermont could pick up 2, 3, 4 inches an hour. It'll be a blizzard. There'll be no other word to describe it. And then east of that in northern Maine, you can see it could be thunderstorm that could immediately kick over to snow as the cold air comes through. I mean, it's just this storm's a wild one. It's been really interesting to watch. And then by Saturday, it starts to clear out, although we're still going to have winds. You can still see that low at 961. So it even strengthens a bit more. So we're still going to see some wind influence, but the winds are going to be much more typical than they will be tomorrow. So we're going to get into that. So with that being said, let's bring up our guests.
I just want to ask a quick question while we're doing that, John.
Yep.
And I was very tempted to make a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer joke, but I won't. But I am.
He's going to be needed this year. If that's the question, he will.
Well,
be
or
needed.
can he fly through this? But what about the level of wind? You're talking about strong winds. How strong do you anticipate the winds being here in West Hartford?
I think 60 miles an hour at the surface is definitely not off the table. And I think it's going to be, the winds are going to be the story here. We are going to pick up rain. There's going to be some flooding, typical areas that water pools, the water is going to pool in. And the challenge for John Phillips, which we're going to get to in just a second, is going to be to stay ahead of that, because the moment that cold air arrives, that water is going to turn to ice. We're not going to catch a break. We're not going to have a little bit of time of transition where John's crews can get after it. So did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Not necessarily in a way I wanted to hear, but yes.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is and the other thing that's really interesting, which I've been having a lot of fun with, is the long range modeling is getting so good. I posted probably last day or two of November, first day or two of December on Neighbors and Friends. Not my forecast, just looking at data. It's other people's data. It's other people's work. I'm just interpreting it. Okay. So I'm not trying to get credit. And I said the week of the 21st, we could have a major storm. And it's really remarkable that this has held up. It's just incredible, the long range modeling. It's been a lot of fun. But anyway, we got two gentlemen who are giving us their time and don't have a lot of time. So Rick Lewith, who's the town manager of West Hartford, let's start with you. Let's talk about preparation. What goes into, what do you look at? What do you analyze when something like this is happening? And then what makes you decide what to do?
Well, John, you're following your meteorology assessment, and over time, usually you're pretty spot on, and hopefully you're not as spot on with this particular storm.
I'll take a look.
So I'll say that first, and I will say also that John had, similar to your thinking, about a week ago, John had warned us of the potential of this storm based on some of the weather services that we apply to. So at that time, we were thinking this one would be, a significant snow event, and that certainly, as you have just described, has changed. So, one of the first things we did yesterday, and to your point, spot on. Again, it's really our concern is about the wind. The heavy rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain overnight, and then expecting those significant winds, and that is going to lead certainly to potential power outages, followed by that cold with power outages, and just a horrible combination. So in terms of our preparation yesterday, Renee McHugh, our public relations officer, sent out an email to our residents, letting them know about the impending weather. Also, along with that information, provided links to our community advisory notification system, as well as Eversource's power outage alert and texting report. So I encourage folks, residents, to click on those links and sign up, and we'll keep you up to date as we move through the storm in terms of power outages and things that are happening around town. So, and then I'm sure everybody has heard Eversource is estimating that we're going to lose about 125,000 customers statewide could lose power. Certainly that number could be a lot higher than that. We have had conversations with Eversource, and we know that they are sending in folks to support the state. So I'm hearing numbers like 3,000 additional line workers heading to Connecticut as we speak to provide support. So,
Rick, I'd be curious to know, and I'm not being a cynic. I thought about this, thinking of all the times they have had to beef up crews and things like that. And normally the event is regionalized, but this event is so widespread. I'm impressed that they're able to come up with the extra equipment and extra manpower or people power because this is impacting a huge swath of the country. So sorry to cut you off, but
it is. No, absolutely. And, we're taking them on their word and hopeful that we will see a good amount of that support right here in Connecticut. So back to our preparation. So this morning, our emergency management team held a meeting over at our Emergency Operations Center, our EOC as we refer to it. And at that point, we were meeting to kind of ensure that we were going to prepare for whatever Mother Nature sends our way. So the meeting included John and myself. Our police chief was there. Our fire chief was there. Deputy Director of Emergency Management, Bob McHugh, was there. We had a fire department IT specialist, Dan Savelli, ensuring that our technology is going to remain up and running throughout the storm. And then we had Bob Barlow, one of John's managers, who was in the EOC with us as well. We've also been in touch with Andy Morrow, our superintendent of schools, to keep him apprised of everything that's going on. Essentially during this meeting, we just went through all of our protocols in the event that we do need to open the EOC. Or even a worst case scenario, what we would do if we needed to declare a town-wide emergency. Hopefully we don't get to that point. But in the event that we did, we were, essentially walking through the preparation for all of those types of things. So I'll pause there. John, anything you would want
yeah,
to
let's jump in on schools. That seems to be when I've been posting about this storm, probably travel and schools are the two biggest questions I get. Is this type of storm, knowing it's probably an all rain event and knowing that tomorrow's on a Wednesday schedule, is there discussion of a school cancellation or?
So, yep. So tomorrow we do have the Wednesday closing. The flash freeze is expected to happen, after school gets out tomorrow afternoon. But we'll keep in close contact with Dr. Morrow tonight, and then essentially we'll keep he'll make that final decision before well before school starts tomorrow morning. But certainly, if these winds kick in the way we expect them to, and we see some power outages, certainly we would make that call to cancel school. At this point, we haven't, I talked to Andy about 45 minutes ago, and that decision, at this point, we're going to move forward with that plan, unless, weather, speeds up or comes at us quicker and we can make a decision sooner than that.
Yeah, the timing's going to be everything for that flash freeze you talk about. And generally, when it's an all rain or a winter style storm with rain for our area, it's very rare that I, in my mind, have a question. But candidly, I have a question on this one. People ask me, I'm like 50-50, and I'm normally much more confident and confident lower with this type of storm. So, John, let's pivot over to you. Your life, you're a busy man on a sunny day. So let's talk about how your life goes in the crapper. I hope that's okay. I say that for the next 48 hours. Talk to us a little bit about what I constantly see your crews just surveying things on nice days. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be up to and what your crews are going to be up to.
Great to be here today. Thanks for inviting me on board. Town Manager Rick Lewith touched on a lot of the points that we've already done already. So it's good to see that the unity of all major departments in town already discussing the potential of and discussing our ability to spin up if we have to. And we're hoping it's if we have to. And so right now we're just keeping things as standard operating procedures for us. We're ready for these storms. Most of the things on the forecast that are coming that we're observing is really right in our wheelhouse to handle without any, larger circumstances or need to spin anything any larger than what we need to. To your point earlier that you mentioned at the very beginning of this broadcast, the weather forecasting getting so well, it has allowed us to be more strategic and prepared for the timing of these events. And that's how we're going to treat the weather services that we use, information that you put out there on your Facebook channels. We actually do use that. And so we'll have crews in overnight, pre-dawn hours in preparation of the highest peak winds. And then, but it's a normal work day for us, so we'll be able to spin up very quickly with the entire workforce that will be here as a normal business hours. And then we'll focus we'll take whatever happens during the day tomorrow. Again, I think things will be isolated for us. Again, the winds are concerned. When you start talking about 50 plus, that's when we really do need to be staffed and be prepared, and we are. It's the ice that will come in later in the evening, and that's where winds become our friends, because if winds continue, as long as they're not damaging, they'll dry the roads out very fast. And if the road's dry, then the ice risk goes down exponentially. And so for any viewers out there, if your road is dry and you can tell it's a dry road, then there really is an ice threat. It's when the road's black, you should assume black ice. You should assume taking a corner, your tires and traction probably won't hold. A lot of people think, well, I got new tires last year. Yeah, but you probably drove 15,000 miles on those tires. So they're not new anymore. So please, you always want to be careful if you're driving on a black road, a dark black road. You've got to assume you're driving on black ice. You want that road to be black gray, and that's assuming a dry road. It's kind of obvious. We know what we're looking at. So that's going to be our concern for tomorrow evening. And again, we've got a contingency plan in place to be proactive for those issues. And the teams have already been notified. And so hopefully everything clears out and we can enjoy Christmas Eve like everybody else.
Any feel for the likelihood of hopefully the roads drying before?
We're actually feeling confident. Yeah, we are. Great question. We feel confident that a lot of our roads should dry off. We'll maintain wet roads are roads that are going to be stuck in underneath tree canopies. A good example of a heavy tree canopy road is Ridgewood Road heading towards Channel 30. All those oak trees really create a cave effect, if you would, and the road takes longer to dry out in those areas where there's a heavy tree canopy. Roads that are open to the wind, open to the breeze, your Farmington Avenues, your Troutworks, your arterial roads like that, they'll dry off pretty quickly. And so we're confident that the wind will help us tomorrow evening to dry things off quickly. And that way, when temperatures continue to drop, that the refreezing will be minimal. Now, Saturday morning, we'll be concerned about groundwater runoff. There's areas of town where water just bleeds out of people's yards and come out into the street. So then you get a little slough of water that will come out of the street. That will freeze. And again, we already have a pre-stage plan for people to come in, staff to come in and address those kind of refreezing areas first thing Saturday morning. So we have staff in at a baseline, but we'll be prepared to spin up if we have to.
So, John, will you, in terms of Ridgewood Road, one of those roads I think of too, and I think of we have so many beautifully canopied road in this town, which I think is very attractive, but obviously there can be the occasional drawback to it, and you gave us a great example of it. But at what point are you comfortable sending out a truck to put down treatment? I know the rain can wash it away. We're talking about a lot of heavy rain. Yep. Is it going to be one of those things where you wait for the wind to shift and then boom, you're on the road, or what are you going to do?
No, we will actually watch it. We've got a lot of great technology in our trucks, which is necessary. So we're not over applying, but we don't want to under apply either. So we're monitoring road temperature. We're monitoring the winds. And we obviously can't apply if there's active rain coming down, but if the rain is a mist or the rain has stopped, and the temperatures go below 32 degrees, road temperatures will drop faster because the heat gets drawn out of the road in the evening. So your road temperatures will drop faster than your air temperatures. Mm-hmm. So we'll be out proactively in that fashion. But the trucks are equipped with that technology in cab. I like to say it's not your grandfather's public works anymore. There's a lot of technology in the trucks, and the level of skill and the skill level of our drivers is top notch, and we're always paying attention. Because it is important to us that we apply the right amount of material in the right places.
I want to drill down on one comment you made about the wind, because that's been another big question. So these storms tend to have personalities, and I've been through, I don't even know.
Not names though.
I'm sorry, Ryan?
They should not be named.
Yeah,
They
no,
shouldn't be named.
don't get me started on names. That's for
It
another.
is not
another-
Storm Elliott.
Yeah, it is not. It is a storm. So unless Noah names the storm, we don't go with names here. So anyway, so we're looking. These storms typically, when they come through with that really hard cut to cold behind it, typically the wind. I liken it to like a hand dryer in a restroom. You've got wet hands. And in like just a moment, it's remarkable, especially those little Dyson deal.
Mhm.
Your hands are drying like this. And that's what happened. So I do want to drill down on that. The other thing that tends to happen with these storms a lot is there's forecast for kind of a backlash of snow. And for some reason in our area, whatever it is, due to topography or whatever, we don't generally get that. But I feel like this one, because it's such a powerful storm, we could see an inch or two. I don't know what you're hearing or preparing to, but we could see an inch or two of snow on the backside, which makes the icing situation a little scary because the roads can glaze. Are you worried about that, or am I maybe being a little too worried?
As of this afternoon, being it's only Thursday afternoon, for something that it could potentially happen the overnight of Friday, so more than 24 hours from now. We're not concerned about it, but we are watching it. Our weather service is calling it a 20% risk of scattered coating of snow.
Okay.
So that's a really low risk for us to really do anything proactive. But like I said, we'll have a baseline crew here, so we'll be able to respond quickly to if things do change. To your point about where we're located, West Hartford, we're in that Connecticut River Valley. We're on that edge. And sometimes, and actually a lot of times in our personal boots on the ground experience, that warm air will get trapped in our valley and the cold air will be over the top of us. And so while your Farmingtons or even Glastonbury's will be experiencing the weather as forecasted, a changeover, even a faster drop in temperatures, that it takes a little bit longer for that colder weather to settle into the valley and change our weather over. But we do have microclimates in West Hartford. The mountain area will have a different weather experience than just the flats where the DPW yard's located down here in Elmwood and the industrial area of West Hartford Center. Well, that transition happens somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So there is that as well.
I think of the summer. I mean, how many times we get burnt on really good thunderstorms? I mean, who doesn't love a good thunderstorm? And it dissipates, goes east of us.
The valley has a real issue when you talk about creating a microclimate.
If I'd known that, I wouldn't have moved here. So Rick, let's spend a couple moments. I know you're up against it here. We got about 4 more minutes. But what can I do? What can other citizens do to best prepare? Turn your temperature up a couple of degrees, have a little wood cut. Like, what are your recommendations?
Yeah, definitely. Do what we can to keep our homes warm right now. So try to block out the cold as much as possible. Keep that heat in. Turn the temps up a little bit right now. Keep that house on the toastier side. In the event that our power goes out, folks should have emergency kits ready, both for your home, for your car. Have gasoline on hand just in case. Certainly if power becomes an issue and we lose power, dress in layers, loose layers, keep your body temperature as warm as possible. Obviously never use a generator. A lot of folks around town have generators now. Keep the generators outside, never inside the home, never in the basement, nowhere inside. And then certainly if folks need us, call us. If you need help, you need emergency services, call us, call 911. If you have frostbite, call us. Just don't put yourself in any kind of dangerous situation should the storm head in that direction. There's support here, police and fire, public works. In our meeting this morning, I not necessarily apologize, as I feel bad about the timing of the storm coming when it is, with the holidays upon us. And to a person, Chief Riddick, Chief Priest, John, this is what we do. This is what we're here for. So we're prepared. We're ready. When our town needs us, we're going to be there. So couldn't be prouder of this staff.
Yeah, we're speaking as my citizen hat on right now. I think we're pretty lucky to have all of you. I mean, everyone's pulling the oars in the same direction, everyone knows they're on the same team for a greater good. So thank you for that. And John Phillips, thank you. John, any parting comments before we say our goodbyes?
No, the town manager said it well. Again, it's just again, we're all New Englanders. We should be okay, really. I think, again, to your credit, the weather forecasts are really, really good. Whether you're getting it from your local media or taking it without the fanfare from your write-ups, just really respect it. Respect the weather, and I think everybody will be just fine.
All right.
And John, I hope I hope John Phillips, I should say. I hope that you and I have no need to speak over the next couple of days, other than to wish each other happy holidays.
Hopefully, we're just giving each other holiday cheer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, folks. John Phillips, Rick Ledwith for Ronnie Newton. I'm John Lyons. Thanks so much, and we'll see you after the new year, hopefully. Take care. Happy holidays, everyone.